but just stuff of you in Kiln is helpful.
Do you ride to work on a rocket? Because we'd love to get you...
to start that.
My name is Josh Haynes, and I'm the CEO and founder of Uplift Aerospace. Uplift Aerospace is a non-traditional aerospace company, and our big initiative right now is creating a community-led space program. So we run astronaut training for basically anybody. We want to make space very accessible. Soon we're going to have welders, cooks, journalists, artists, any field you can imagine here on Earth as a profession is going to start being integrated into space. And I understand that that's many years away, but we need to make sure that we're building the future now that we want to see. Most of us grew up looking at the stars and saying, yeah, I want to be an astronaut someday. Then as we get older, we think, oh, that's just reserved for certain people. But the truth is now that doesn't have to be. So I actually graduated in physics, and I did some consulting for NASA SBIR mission planning. So if you wanted to go from low Earth orbit to Mars, I'd help develop out the mission trajectories for that. And I did that for a little while, and then I started Uplift Aerospace in 2018. We've identified the main things that we think are just really fun with astronaut training. How do you put on a spacesuit? What does it feel like? That's a very fun experience. Like it's a blast being able to wear a spacesuit. The other one is spacecraft egress training, so the idea of going through sort of the procedures of when things go right and when things go wrong. The third one is how do you move around in zero gravity and weightlessness. Same type of training experiences they've been doing since the Apollo missions on these parabolic flights, where you get to experience weightlessness for about 30 seconds at a time, so a total of 7 minutes normally. So that's the main core training that we do with our program at Uplift Aerospace. My advice for somebody looking to start a company or an early stage startup is to change your mindset and your perspective of what it means to win and fail, or win and lose, fail, succeed. If you are a startup, you will be failing because what you're doing most likely has never been done before and nobody knows the answer to it. If somebody does know the answer to it, then you may be starting the wrong company, because the companies or the startups that do well are the ones that are really trying to do something that's innovative or has a value proposition that nobody's considered before. The challenge of that is you also don't know the answer. That happens all the time. Happens like weekly, monthly. We will put tons of energy into something, it doesn't work out. I've gotten to the point where I just roll through it. If something fails, like I don't even look at it anymore. I don't put time into it. What I do put time into is why did it go wrong? And how can we pivot, or how can we change in a way that will tweak it enough to then make it successful? I'm the perfect person to interview when talking about Kiln because I love Kiln. Kiln cares about every startup, and they set up an environment and a culture to foster helpfulness. When we first did our fundraise, I pitched to Kiln and I was like, hey, I really need help practicing this. And just like same day, I had probably 6 to 10 people just say, yeah, I'd love to help you. So to be able to have this community where you can go and say, hey, I really need your help, are you willing? And just have so many people freely volunteer their time and experience and background, that's very ingrained into the culture and the offerings that Kiln gives as a workspace.